Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Joel Madden, and this is Artist Friendly. And on today's episode, I'm talking to Noah Sebastian from Bad Omens, one of my favorite bands. I'm really excited to talk to him, really excited to hear about his process in making records and Bad Omens, where they're at and where they're going. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let's get into it. What's up, Noah? How you doing, Dan?
Good, man.
Thanks for coming.
Dude, thanks for having me.
How's it going?
It's really good. I love this rig. I love this setup. It's a dope backdrop.
Thanks, man. We're it's cool. I like it feeling a little bit like, it's kind of like home a little bit. It feels like my office at home feels a little bit like this. But
how long have you been doing this? It's kind of new, right?
It's kind of new in the beginning of the year, like January. Mm-hmm. So we've been doing it for half a year or more.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's good.
That's awesome.
I'm really excited to talk to you. Bad Omens is one of my favorite bands. I think you guys are one of the best modern bands.
Thank you.
Out there. That's actually doing, I think that you guys hold a place in heavy music and in rock music in general, not just heavy music, but rock as a total kind of category of music. But I think that you guys, where you may get grouped in with heavy music, I think you guys are just an incredible rock band.
Well, yeah, like rock is like evolving.
Yeah.
It's really evolving right now. I feel like it's getting more mainstream again, like the way it was in like the early 2000s.
And what might have used to been considered heavy now is more accepted. It's like a mainstream.
Yeah.
That more people can tolerate heavier music than they used to. Because I think when you think about heavy music back in the day, certainly when I was in the 90s coming up, when I first was forming my like relationship with rock music, heavier music was really kind of pushed into one category.
Right.
And now it feels like there's less genres and more just like, you guys are a rock band, you make heavy music, but it's not all heavy. There's a lot of melody in your music. There's a lot of songwriting.
Yeah.
I know you're a very experienced songwriter. The songs are good.
Yeah. That's
they're
important.
Good songs. Structurally, they're like good songs.
Yeah, it's really hard to find that balance of like trying to make something that feels like it was written by like a professional songwriter without it feeling like commercial or like copy and pasted or just manufactured, while like still having that emotion or realness and like also like experimentation as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I draw influence from, just a lot of like abstract artists that are kind of under the radar, or alternative artists, versus like something you would hear on the radio or at the grocery store. But yeah, no, I think that's my favorite part about making rock music is like being a part of whatever its history is, like in the future. Like today is going to be the history of rock at some point.
Yeah, you're authoring a legacy.
Yeah, and I don't think I realized that until recently, and I take a lot of pride in that. Like especially with like the success of this album and just seeing like how quickly it's been happening since The Death of Peace of Mind came out.
But so I hear the word quickly, and to me, I'm careful with that word.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it minimizes what I think is, this is your third album, and it's a lifetime of work.
Yeah.
So it's a lifetime of living and a lifetime of writing these songs and trying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the quickness of it is maybe how quickly it tips.
Right.
But the roots of what you guys have done, in my opinion, as a fan and as someone who's gotten to be close to it, and see you guys do it. So there's a lot of things I think to point out, and that's what I do. I like to analyze things.
Yeah, me too.
I like to figure out how people did what they do.
That's like my greatest weakness and my greatest strength.
Overanalyzing.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah,
my family gets really tired of it. But it's important. Because anyone out there that's listening to this right now likely is building something of their own, whether it's a band or they're a songwriter or a producer, or they're just building a business, or they're just trying to build a life.
Yeah.
These are metaphors for everything we do. How we do one thing, we do all things, right? Like, so when I look at you guys as a band, live, incredible, music is good. Now, if I look at you guys as an organization, people that are working together to achieve a common goal, in an organized way, that's what you have to do to succeed, in my opinion. So a lot of bands, like, if they say they're not doing that, they are doing it. They just don't want to accept they're doing it. And if they didn't care about success, they wouldn't do it. So if we want to grow, we want to have some success.
Yeah, of course.
Our versions of that success will be different. But so you left home at a young age. How old were you? 17, 16?
I feel like 15.
15. Okay, really young.
Probably, yeah.
It was crazy. I have a 15-year-old. When I think about that's crazy.
Yeah, I was on my own at 15. I bounced back every now and then when it was like convenient, or I was like, I needed it, or my friends' parents like were like, okay, you've been here a while.
Because I left home a few years later than that, but at a young age, you know, and again in a time when there was no iPhones, it wasn't easy to move through the world. It was just like literally like hitchhiking and finding rides and doing.
It feels like just as dangerous, you know, just as risky as it is convenient. Yeah, like a teenager now with the iPhone probably have an easier time being independent, but also
easier time getting
much
tricked.
Risk, getting kidnapped or something.
Yeah, getting catfished or getting tricked or
you know what? I thought the other day about this. It was interesting. I remember when I was in school and stuff, and like I feel like I came up around the time the internet was starting to get normalized, like MySpace and stuff. Social media was more
a definite time.
And I feel like a lot of people were talking about internet safety back then, and like security and internet privacy and stuff. Like in school, and you're like parents and everyone, like people were afraid to put their credit cards on the internet.
Yeah.
And
now it's like,
I don't know if that, I mean, I don't have any, I'm not in high school now, but like, I wonder if that's still a thing. Like you have a kid, you have kids.
So it is a thing.
Are they still even like thinking about that?
They are, but this is how kids are too smart now.
Yeah.
So they know already the danger.
Yeah.
They're already aware of it. Like there are the cases where people say this kid there's no doubt that there are predators out there and they are trying to talk to your kids. No doubt.
Right.
What I'm saying is that the kids have grown up with this. They understand this. They know.
They're smarter than the adults.
There's most of the time. Yeah. Like, and you always say it as a parent, and they're always like, it's the idea that like your parent is going to tell you something, and you as a teenager are going to listen and go, boy, they really are wise. They really know.
Not going to happen.
My mom and dad are so wise. They always give me the best advice. I take it to heart. Their teenagers are completely blocked. Mm-hmm. Their sensibility sometimes is completely blocked by like the hormones and whatever else they're going through. And I think they're experiencing the world. And the thing that I think, not to get into parenting, I think the best thing we can do is create a stable environment, a safe environment of support, and give them as much information as we can. Talk to them, and they don't want to hear it, but you talk to them. You go, listen, I know you don't want to hear it. I need to understand that you understand the risk and the dangers of like social media, the internet, the things that you're doing, right? And because you're not going to stop them. This is no way, shape, and form. Once you get 15, I would even say now or earlier, probably 13, 14. You can hold out, and you should try. I think parenting wise, you should try to hold out as long as you can. And maybe some people will have the anomaly of the kid who's like, I don't do social media. That sounds like a great kid. But from my experience, all the kids.
That's a double-edged sword too, right? Because I'm sure you don't want to be an outlier. You don't want to be the weirdo in your school that doesn't have Instagram.
Yeah, I think so too. But I would love it if
right.
if that was like it. I'd be like, great.
Yeah, because
you're this. But. I think you communicate and you talk as much as possible. Mm-hmm. And even if they don't want to answer, you ask and you go, how's it going? You know, how's things? And you ask about certain things and it can be you got to break that uncomfortable ice by not judging their answers and not like just kind of hearing them out. Anyways, so kids, but to Bad Omens.
Yeah, sure.
You leave home early, and so I did too. That kind of says home life wasn't completely stable.
No, I think it was my grandpa passing away when I was, I believe I was 14-ish. Because then, you know,
Big moment?
Even, like, obviously as a teenager, I didn't know anything about life. And I don't now. And I feel like in 10 years, I'll feel the same way. And I think that's great. But I had enough self-awareness to know I didn't want to like be a rambunctious hormonal, you know, teenager and put that on my grandma to deal with by herself. Right. I mean, they're old people, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't like being at home either with my mom. So I was just always out with my friend, and all my friends were older, you know, even like when I wasn't playing in bands in and out, like playing guitar in bands growing up, like everyone was older and in their early 20s or late 20s. and I was just like the teenager in the band playing guitar. But yeah, I mean, I was just talking to my therapist about this, but I feel like that like lack of stability as a kid pushed me to design it for myself now as an adult. And like now I love my house. Like it's not, a crazy house by any means, but I live with my closest friends and I like just got a dope couch and it's just like my comfortable, like I make it a comfortable place. I'm excited to be, especially going on tour.
But you design it.
Yeah.
You control.
Yeah. Like I wanted to make the life I wanted to live, the lifestyle I wanted to live, and like the comfort that I maybe yearned for as a kid, that like security, that I never probably experienced, at least subconsciously. And
it's interesting.
Yeah. So now when I'm so like appreciative of my house,
right?
Especially again going on tour, even if you didn't have my childhood, I feel like if you tour a lot, or you travel half the year, or more than half the year, you get home and you're so stoked to be home.
It's such a nice feeling to be in one place.
So when I get home, like on top of that, having like a great place to be that's comfortable with people I like living with, I just kind of bask in it. Like I get up in the morning and I sit outside in the sun and I'm just like, this is awesome, And it's so simple.
I feel the same way. I spent so many years touring, and now there's never a day where I don't wake up in my house and feel like, I don't know. It's hard to explain that feeling. I also think growing up with a lot of insecurity, whether it was financial or whatever it was, does make you appreciate like a stability in your home, like, and knowing you don't ever have to move.
Yeah.
But there's never a day I don't wake up in my house and just go like, yeah, this is great. I love being here.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the finishes.
Right. Materialistic stuff.
No, it's not. I mean, it's a nice house. My wife has got a real good taste, you know, and she makes those decisions, and I love it because I don't have to, because I am not good at picking things most of the time. I can pick some things, but she has a real way of bringing it all together. But I wake up and I'm just like really happy. I just feel like I'm on vacation every day when I wake up. But I wonder if, and maybe you've talked about this and analyzed this in therapy or something, do you think that the back and forth, right, going between two houses, maybe feeling like you don't completely fit in completely with either place, right? There's probably things you appreciate about both and things you like. So that's how I feel about. Do you think that's why you're a bit of a control freak over?
Oh yeah,
the sound and the and the like the details.
Absolutely.
Which I think people who are really detail oriented and really that perform at a high level doing anything have to be enough of a control freak that they want to be good at it.
Yeah. I was actually talking to my therapist about this too. I hate the idea that you have to like suffer to get good at something, or to get disciplined at something, or to be good at something out of fear.
And I don't agree with it either. Like I agree, I know what you're saying, and I think that's what we're always told, that if you're to get good, it's really hard. You have to
persevere. You
beat
have to
yourself
adversity.
senseless to get good. Like, what if you're inclined to be good and you get good fast?
Yeah. I'm sure that exists for some people, for some fortunate people,
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's I guess that's the positive way to look at it when you're reflecting on like the harder parts of your life, or tragedy, or whatever it is that's like kind of thickened your skin or forced you to adapt in some way or another, or survive, is looking at where I've gotten and where I hope to be. Because that's like the biggest thing I'm trying to work on, is like my constant fear and anxiety of like the temporariness of it. Temporarity. I don't know what the
I don't know, or that it's fleeting.
Yeah, exactly. The fleetingness of it. Like music and entertainment in general, I feel like is so finicky, and like people go through phases and seasons, and people so quickly lose interest. And then there's like,
I totally.
I hate that I'm concerned about that, because I make music for me. That's why I like That the Peace of Mind was so weird, and like I love it, and the new stuff that I'm working on.
I mean, Death of Peace of Mind, I've easily played that record. every track back to back. I'm trying to see how many times I've listened to that record hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Hundreds of times, if not more. Like I've listened to that. There are days where I've listened to that record 4 times all the way through.
Crazy.
It's one of the best rock records I've heard in the last 10 years.
That's so flattering.